This is my book, Yahoo Creek, An Australian Mystery. It's the result of many years' research and developing of an artwork style, and the research, some of it at least, is shown on the end papers here. These are all actual articles from colonial times of encounters, reporting encounters with what is or was a large hair-covered human-like creature, a hominid of some kind perhaps, that seemed to be roaming the Great Dividing Range and occasionally making itself known to early settlers who were exploring these areas and establishing farms and towns and things. I thought I'd look at three stories from here that I find particularly interesting because they show the creature as more than just a standard horror movie monster. The first one is this one here. This is a situation where 5 people noticed through the telescope a hairy man on a headland, sitting on a headland and making a crying noise similar to that of a child. And to me that showed that this was if this creature is real, that it has emotions and feelings like, at least like humans. Like, it's not just this angry rampaging monster, but it has these quiet private moments. Interestingly, the article also ends, this is now the 3rd creature seen in these parts resembling the hairy man. So extra intrigue as ever with these strange articles. The next one is this one here, which I find interesting and also somewhat poignant, where a settler's daughter who goes out at twilight looking for the cows turns a corner and comes face to face with this large hairy hominid, and they just stand and stare at each other for a while, and then when her sister calls out to her from somewhere, it just turns and walks leisurely away, as the extract says. And that to me sort of also, there's a strange, here out in the most isolated place, there's this strange intimacy or gentleness to the creature, which again shows another side to it, makes it seem more real and dimensional, I guess. It also shows colonial life, these lonely, isolated little huts where they've made clearings in the forest, and perhaps the clearing of the forest has disturbed the habitat of creatures, perhaps possibly like this hairy man, and he's kind of become curious and possibly concerned. And there are many stories in here, but this is probably just one other I'd like to show, and this is a picture that goes with some extracts that talk about sending search parties out to find this creature and prove the existence of it once and for all. And this is, I think it's interesting that people's reports of encounters must have seemed credible enough to townsfolk to organise these search parties to go and look for the creature. So there must have been some belief that it was possible this creature was out there, that it was a real thing. And here it is at night, up in the hills in its sort of lonely domain, looking down on the lights of a new little town in somewhere in the Great Dividing Range. And again, it just shows the creature in a quiet moment, seemingly a lonely kind of creature, and its world is slowly being taken over or invaded by all these people who are arriving in it and cutting the trees down and things like that. And then one final thing which is very important to this book are the words of Peter Williams, a Niampa elder from northwest New South Wales, and he's otherwise known as Uncle Pete, and he offers his words and thoughts on the creature too, which confirm in fact that the Europeans who were encountering it were seeing a very similar creature, similar size, similar behaviour, similar features, and it makes it deepens the mystery that there's this knowledge of various first Australians that seems to support what the Europeans were encountering as well, but also that this creature also has a deep significance as well, and that there are things we may be able to learn from it. And so, okay, that's just a sampling, a tantalising sampling of some of the pages of Yahoo Creek, an Australian mystery. I hope you get to see the book, and I hope that anyone who reads it feels that their imagination is charged up with new thoughts and things to wonder about.